haven't made a YouTube video in almost a year now. I'm going to touch on some things that have happened and what to expect from this channel going forward. First off, for those of you who are subscribed, new subscribers, and those who have stayed subscribed, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It kept my channel going even when I couldn't. And truly, it means the world to me, and it's definitely humbling. And for those of you who have followed my affiliate links, it surprised me and really meant a lot during these times. It's kept the channel alive. Now, some of these things I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to go into great depth about. I've tried doing that in the past, and I just couldn't get through it. I've tried making this video several times, and objectively, it's just pretty terrible. I think you'll understand what I mean once I cover everything. So if I seem somewhat clinical and devoid of emotion, it's just so I can get through the video. It's basic survival, not heartlessness. When I first started this channel, I was under the impression that I had fibromyalgia. Honestly, the best I could do was like 20 hours a month, and that was at my height of production, like 2 to 3 videos per month. It wasn't sustainable, otherwise I'd still be doing it. I mean, who doesn't want to grow their channel, right? But honestly, like 5 to 10 hours per month was the most I could do sometimes, and I had to be extremely efficient. I mean, I only started editing when I could easily do so from my phone. But it turns out for 17 years, I was misdiagnosed. I have post-concussion syndrome from a moderate traumatic brain injury in 2001. I figured that out after watching the movie Concussion, an excellent movie about Dr. Bennett Omalu and the NFL. And Will Smith did a great job in that. And it was an all-star cast, definitely worth seeing. I mean, it literally changed my life. And honestly, this channel is one of the reasons I purchased that movie. I had just gotten into 4K and it was available. I'd been searching for what was wrong with me for 17 years because I just didn't trust the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Now, frustratingly, I mentioned the head injury to every single doctor. I mean, I fell out of my semi-truck and was unconscious for over 40 minutes. And it wasn't until I watched that movie and really pressed my neurologist that I finally heard the term post-concussion syndrome. I mean, bingo. It explained every bit of strange symptoms that fibromyalgia just couldn't explain. I finally understood what I was fighting, and that's particularly helpful. I saw a neuro-optometrist, a considerably different practice compared to general optometry. I'd seen 10 other regular optometrists, and my eyesight has always been fine. I never needed glasses before. But my vision was jumbled. So what happens after my eyeballs is just a little bit off. When the brain experiences trauma, connections are permanently broken and the brain rewires itself through neuroplasticity. But it's not always rewired perfectly. And that can cause the fight or flight response, which constructs blood flow to the surface tissues, causing pretty miserable pain. Hence the false diagnosis of fibromyalgia. It also robs you of energy in an extreme fashion. Simply the act of processing vision consumes nearly all of your energy because the brain's having to work so much harder to make sense of what it's seeing. So then I got glasses that finally took me out of the fight or flight response. And it was truly amazing. I could finally relax after 17 years. That's a really long time to be edgy. But unfortunately, that's where the story takes a pretty crappy turn. Unfortunately, shortly thereafter, I realized that my marriage was ending. And to be clear, those of you that are going to wonder, my home theater setup had absolutely nothing to do with my marriage ending. I can say that with complete confidence. The divorce was unexpected. And then shortly after that, Angel passed away, right as lockdown began. And a year later, I lost my mother to COVID. So basically, everything went to hell in pretty short order. Pretty much everything in my life has changed. Bear was always my wife's dog, so he stayed with her. So within 2 years, I lost my marriage, my mother, and both of my dogs. And if that wasn't enough, during all of this stress, I collapsed twice, causing 2 additional concussions. That definitely didn't help things. I saw my neuro-optometrist, and she could definitely tell that more damage was done and that I was undeniably worse than the first time she saw me. And she said I definitely need to avoid additional head injuries. Unfortunately, a change in prescription glasses would not be enough to correct anything. In fact, my glasses are the same. My prescription's virtually the same. So at some point, when things are settled down, I'm going to have to get vision therapy to try and get back to where I was before getting the glasses. And that's going to cost anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000 because it's not something that is covered by any medical insurance. And that definitely should change because, in my opinion, from my experience, it's the most effective treatment for head injury. I mean, I think it should be the very first therapy after any head trauma, and that's in my non-medical opinion, of course. It's also a weekly appointment schedule that's particularly grueling. It's not something I can miss. I have to be there every single week. Otherwise, the way the brain works, I'll have to start from scratch if there's any interruption in the treatment. I have to be in a position where I can fully commit to it. In the meantime, I'm reorganizing my life, relocating, and focusing on my health first and foremost. So what does that mean for the channel? Well, the initial reason for setting up this motorhome was so that I can do in-person demos. The few demos that I have done definitely produced the results I expected. It's almost never what people expect. Of course, the pandemic got in the way, and along with everything else. That said, I was able to build my Tesla battery system, and I'll be doing a walkthrough on that at some point. And that basically covers this, custom-built entertainment center of sorts. The battery's down below. If there's anything you'd like to know about it, please put it in the comments down below. Just a brief overview, I have 1,200 watts of solar, a 4,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and 3 Tesla Powerwall modules for 10 kilowatt hours of storage. The batteries might have come from a car, but it's the same battery structure as the Powerwall. So it's not the same as people are used to with the Model S and Model X batteries. Those have a different voltage range. And the voltage range on the batteries I have are a little more user-friendly for what I've done. I still have loads of content to produce, and I have endless topics to cover. More base hacks too. A lot of people are finding those helpful. But I had to walk away from the channel completely, and that includes delaying the review of the 3000 Micro. I definitely appreciate SVS being patient on that one. That said, that's going to be a pretty interesting video because I did something pretty unusual with it. I had an idea a long time ago and just recently brought it to fruition, and it worked really, really well. So the channel will return to regular production, even if that means fewer videos overall. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to figure out a way to improve efficiency and produce even more content. But I'd really like to thank everyone who checked on me. I'm sorry for not returning messages and comments, but I had to step away completely. That's one of the reasons I did this YouTube channel. I've always known that there would be times where I would have to fall off the face of the planet because of my health, and that's exactly what happened here. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't like that, so my channel stopped growing at the pace it was growing at. So if you've watched my videos in the past and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It makes a world of difference. My channel needs a boost. It's been on life support for the past year. I mean, I'll get back to producing regularly, whatever regularly means, but I'm determined to produce quality content for you again. I didn't build this channel, you did, my viewers. I'll never forget that, and I'll do my best to keep making content that the regular, everyday person can digest when it comes to home audio. But I know other people have had much worse times over the past couple of years. This is more of an explanation video, not a woe is me video. I mean, life is messy. I've dealt with struggle over the past 2 decades. This was just a little more than usual. The only reason I'm making this video at all is because I felt I owed you an explanation for being absent for so long. But again, I truly appreciate my subscribers and viewers. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate those of you who have followed my links and kept the channel viable in the last year, despite my absence. If it wasn't for that, I don't know that I could have rebuilt this channel. My viewers kept it going, so I don't have to rebuild it. I just need to continue it. So thank you for that. And once again, I am truly humbled and grateful. And if you've watched this far, either you're an amazing person or you just hate watching me to the very end. Either way, I appreciate you. So this was a horrible video to make, but thanks for watching, and more than ever, please subscribe. Good girl. Hey, no, you're not done, are you? You're not done.